Hey y'all, it's Demented Caliber here. So here's a type of video I haven't done in a while. That is a knife video, and I actually haven't done a review on this knife yet, which I'm really surprised because back when I bought this knife, I was really fond of it. So starting at price point, when I bought this, it was $29.99. That's without tax. With tax, it was like 30 something. Now, to me, that's not a bad price considering how well this knife is actually made. This is a case Sod Buster Jr. And yeah. Stainless. It says stainless, but I think there's other bits of metal in here because the blade retention on it is actually really good. It's not overly sharp, but it's a pocket knife. I don't need it to be overly sharp. I just need it to do one task only. That's being an everyday carry. And yes, this is going to be my everyday carry from now on, just because I'm getting tired of carrying knives such as these big knives. So yeah, I used to like it when I was like fucking 17, 18, but now that I'm starting to get older, I think this will suffice for me. I don't need a big knife anymore. Like, don't get me wrong, I'll still collect big knives, but as far as an everyday carry, no. Another prime example of a big knife is something like this. Now this is a Winchester, one little Winchester knife. And that's just way too big for me. I don't need it. Well, what's the point of it? I know, yeah, it looks cool, this, that, and the other, and it can perform more tasks, but really, everyday carry, this is all I need. So, with that being said, let's talk about the construction. I gotta say, the construction on is really good for a $30 knife. Now, there's a lot better knives out there, but you're gonna pay a way higher price. But for a starter beginner knife, this is definitely the way to go. I've had this knife for about 3.5 years now. Now see, here's the thing. I did use it for the longest time. Then I misplaced it. Then I found it. Then I misplaced it again. So that's one of the reasons why I wasn't able to do an actual review on this. But here's the review. So with that being said, it's got 3 rivets, and I do want to tell you something, if you did not know this already. These 2 rivets actually don't do anything. They're just there for looks. The way they keep these handles on is using high-strength epoxy, believe it or not. If you've ever watched how these types of knives are made, with these, I want to say it's either bone or something. Or it may be even a plastic or something. I don't really know. I lost the box, so I couldn't tell you guys. But with these type of handles, they epoxy them on. That's all it is. That's pretty much all these rivets are for. It's just rivets. I guess you'd call them brass rivets, brass lugs, whatever you want to call them. Brass rods. That's all they're there for, is looks. Now this one actually does serve a purpose. This is your pivot right here. So this allows the knife to open or close. Actually, let me do it this way. My hands are sweaty. Alright. And open. Now, the back spring on this is really freaking strong. Even with it being 3 years old and me using it a lot. I gotta say, the spring retention on this, it's amazing for the price. It really is. And now, you notice one thing. There is no spine lock, no liner lock. It's pretty much a slip joint design. What does that mean? Well, that means you open the knife, it's going to stay open under the spring tension itself. You think that it would close easily, but as you've seen, I actually was struggling to close this knife. That's how strong the spring is. Now, this is actually what they call a leaf spring. Compared to, say, like a coil spring, this is actually a leaf spring. So this really controls pretty much every aspect of the knife. It controls it staying closed. It controls it staying open. And that's really the main part of the knife besides the blade. So, what do I think of the knife? It is a really fantastic knife for the price. Another good knife is this Gerber right here. This is an Evo Jr. And this is actually a pretty good knife, and this thing has been through hell and back. It's got aluminum handles. It's a liner lock. I don't even know what I think the blade is 440, but this thing has been through hell and back. And yes, I did say aluminium. That's who I am. That's how I pronounce aluminium, or aluminum, as most people know it. So if you don't like it, well, you can just leave my channel. Simple as that. But that Gerber Evo Jr. is a really good knife. I got it for Christmas, and that thing sat in a leaky trunk for about 2.5 years. So yeah. And you can see how well it held up. This knife right here, I'm starting to see a little bit of a tarnishing there, like on the liner, because the liner is I believe brass, and you can see some tarnishing on the rivet, or the pivot, and the 2 little rivets right here. So, but that's not a big issue. I mean, that gives the knife character. It really does. It shows how long you've actually had the knife for. Now, keep in mind, brass does tarnish pretty quickly if you keep it out in the elements. But for this just being locked away somewheres in a box that I don't even remember putting it in, or not really locked away, but putting it in a box and misplacing it, you can see that it did withstand some of the elements, because it's really humid down here in Louisiana. So I give this a knife a 10 out of 10 for being on the cheap side. It's not really cheaply made. Same with that Gerber Evo Jr. I forgot how much my grandparents said they paid for it. I think it was like also 30 bucks. So those 2 knives, this knife and the Evo, they're pretty much amazing for starter knives. And for somebody who doesn't want a big knife, this is an all-around knife right here. You want to support the local mom and pop shops? Go ahead. They have this knife. I'm telling you, pick it up. You will like it. Now, I did see a lot of people say they had problems with these handles right here. But to be honest, I haven't had a single issue with them. But I guess that's because they're thrashing around on it, doing stuff with it that they're not supposed to be doing, and stuff like that. I mean, it's essentially like a car. If you treat it right, it'll treat you right. If you take care of it, it'll last a long time. That's simply how it goes, guys. So without a doubt in my mind, I can say that this is a perfect beginner's knife. If you enjoyed the video, let me know. Comment down below. Leave a like and subscribe. Anyways, guys, this is Demented Caliber signing out.